This week, we've got news about games, we've got debates about games, and we've got two guys on couch that I'm going to introduce right now. Andy Bauman, Jake Decker. What's up, guys?
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. We're here to talk about Mafia 3 because Mafia 3 was announced this morning, even though it's kind of been rumored for years now.
Oh yeah, we knew it was coming. What do you want to know about Mafia, Chris?
I want to know what you want in Mafia, Andy. I want to know. Next week we're going to be getting more information about it, but until then, you guys have played some Mafia, significant amounts. What do you want from this? It's coming back after 5 years.
I kind of left Mafia 2 feeling like, all right, that's enough.
Cool. We did the Mafia thing.
We did the Mafia thing.
Nailed it.
We nailed it. We got it. Mafia 1 came out of nowhere. It was amazing. It was absolutely brilliant. The city was alive, in a way that even now games have a struggle getting at, because even cops would pull you over for speeding. You had to live in that world.
You had to obey traffic laws or suffer the consequences.
Yeah. And you could ride on the L train and go. It's you're going to work or whatever, and then it's oh, now you gotta cap somebody,
do crimes,
and that's because you fell into the wrong crowd or whatever. So it had this cool feeling of it, and also maybe I was younger and more susceptible to
Well, that was 2002.
Yeah, that was a while ago. So
here we're seeing Greg Kasavin in his video review
with a baseball bat.
And then 2010, 8 years later, Mafia 2 came out.
Yeah, and it was all right.
Very highly reviewed by Kevin Van Orden
really?
at 8.5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It was more of a shooter than the first game, as far as you had cover mechanics and you could blast dudes with an array of guns, and it was all right. It still had the driving the city, but it just didn't feel quite as revolutionary as the first one did.
Yeah, the city in Mafia 2, it was cool. It looked cool, but there wasn't much in there. It almost felt like a linear game, even though it was in a big city. And I think
why is this an open world?
Exactly. That was kind of my question. And even carried over to the end. Once you finish the game, I believe that was it, right? You couldn't go back in the world and free roam unless you wanted to start a new game.
So do you think so there's the question of open world versus linear, right? I mean, if you're going to have an open world, you got to kind of do something with it. Otherwise, it's just so much space for you to traverse on your way and possibly get busted by cops.
With really terribly handling cars from the 50s that you try to drift. And you get points for drifting, I guess, for whatever.
You get points for drifting in a car from the 50s.
There's a whole bunch of weird details in that game. I remember you could go home and drink beer from the fridge and stuff like that. It was
And there was Playboys.
Yeah, just scattered around. That was the collectible, right? You'd go around the city and try to pick up the
I have to admit, I would try and find all the Playboys. I'm gonna.
You're not a grown-ass man who can just go into a store and buy some. You have to find it in a garbage can.
Not to dwell too much, but these were from the era.
Well, that was another thing.
Cool.
So that was another thing. The period sort of accuracy about Mafia has always been a real strong suit.
Yeah.
And in terms of the cars, the outfits, the sort of the music, the way that the world is constructed, these little details. So if we're looking at Mafia now, what kind of time period would you want to see it in?
So yeah, they should tear it all down and start over, right? Because we've done this mob thing, Italian-made men.
Yeah, I don't want to be in New York City again.
Yeah.
I want something more. I want something different.
So we were joking earlier, what if they made it it's still called Mafia, but what if it's just the modern drug game?
Yeah.
And it's
cartel.
It's Bodymore,
basically.
Maryland or whatever.
Oh, The Wire?
Yeah, Murderland. It's The Wire or whatever. No, that'd be cool. But it's probably not going to be that, but
sure.
Maybe they just take the setting somewhere else where there's never been a mob movie in, I don't know, Louisiana?
Louisiana, yeah, that's one of the rumors that's been going around. And they teased an image sort of released today that you do see some Spanish moss on the trees there, on the sides, and you see some cars that look like, I'm no carologist, but that's 70s-esque, right? I mean, we're past the 50s, maybe 60s, 70s. It's you see 4 people there lined up. I think one of them is a woman and the others appear to be dudes. So character has been another real strong suit in Mafia historically, that writing and the way they sort of, it's an interesting story. And so,
it gets real elaborate in too. There's different mobs on mobs killing people that you want to save, and then you gotta help them, and then everybody dies, and someone's an FBI informant, and then you're maybe gonna die and fade to black.
At what point do you become a school teacher or a dock worker and just lament the failing infrastructure of the city that you live in?
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully from as soon as you say
Hopefully
new
this is
game.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
No, like 2's story, I mean, it almost kind of felt like a Scorsese video game, sort of, just the way it was set up. I mean, it wasn't on the same level, but I mean, I'd like to see something again like that, like focus more on storytelling once again.
If it is in the what's it called, the Louisiana area, if it's in the bayou, that does seem to be pulling from like the first season of True Detective, like that just feeling and that storytelling. And I think these kind of games have always like pulled from movies like Scorsese and all that. So it's like, yeah, they want to keep going with those threads and like follow.
Yeah,
that
so because there's definitely a different flavor to like that kind of fast-paced New York, like very Italian-influenced sort of gangster ethos, and then like the sort of maybe slower Southern pace of just like, you know, like the days are drawn out in this suffocating heat, and like there's a lot more sort of rural spaces involved.
There's black magic.
Like. Yeah, there's like this Caribbean influence in there too. So it is, you know, there's definitely cinematic tradition, and of course, like with TV, with True Detective, something for them to draw on, and I think that's been a strength of Mafia in the past.
And I think the cool thing about the Louisiana setting, if that is the case, it's not something you typically see in games. The last time I think I was in Louisiana in a game was like Tony Hawk's Underground or something like that. Like,
Was Left 4 Dead 2 somewhere around?
Oh, yeah.
There was some Left 4
2
Dead,
was as well.
And also in Battlefield Hardline, there's a swamp scene, but that's like Miami. That's Florida somewhere, but it's like the fan boat, you know, going through the swamp.
But
Maybe
like having an alive open world there, I think could be a really, really strong feature for the game. Hopefully set it apart from, you know, like Grand Theft Auto and all these other sort of free
just bringing to life a different kind of city, a different feel. And Mafia 3 announced today. Going to be learning more about Mafia 3 at Gamescom next week on Wednesday, I believe, the 5th.
Is there a trailer dropping?
Oh yeah,
Is that what's
there's
happening?
like the whole like thing is gonna setting, probably trailer.
Trailer.
Big thing coming out of Gamescom next week. Let us know what you think about Mafia 3 in the comments below, what you want to see. Andy, Jake,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much.
Dude, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Good stuff.